Hey, how are you today? Good, good. Well, why don't you come in and have a seat? Oh, so you're trying to book some travel plans for this summer? Okay, great. Well, give me just 1 second to wrap this up and then I will be right with you, okay? Okay, so back to you. Let me just take down a little bit of information here in my information book before we get started. How does that sound? Okay, so why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're trying to get out of your summer? Okay. Yeah, absolutely. We can definitely get something that's similar to that. No, I completely understand that. I feel like this time of the year, I am seeing so many trips being taken all over the world. So it kind of puts a little bit of pressure on you to want to keep up with that. Everything else that you're seeing on social media. Okay, great. So I like to just kind of write these things down by hand so that I am kind of feeling like I'm one with you. It makes me feel more connected to your desires and wants when I am writing things down that are related to the trip. But let me go ahead and get you in our system. Okay, so if you could just give me your first and last name and your home address. That's a beautiful part of town. I do love it over there. Okay, so that's all that I need for the current moment in our system. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got. So your time frame for your trip, you were thinking mid-August, and then the number of people. So it's just 2 for this trip, correct? Okay. Well, there's a lot of things you can do with 2 people, so we are not very limited then on this trip. Now, as far as kind of like I guess I'm just thinking where are you kind of craving a trip? Do you have any inkling of where you want to go. So, you know, obviously we have the continental United States and Canada, and also Alaska. And then we kind of go down into Central and South America countries. There's also quite a few islands in the Caribbean. Also, there are some islands along the west coast too. And then we have Hawaii out here in the middle of nowhere. And then if we start moving a little farther east, we're getting into Greenland and Iceland. And then if we continue along, we're over here in, you know, all those little European countries, which there are so many options over there, but just to list a few, you know, we've got Portugal, Spain, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. If you go to the Southern European countries, you're looking at France, Italy, Croatia. If you're looking for like mountains and culture, we've got, you know, Switzerland, Latvia, Bosnia, Poland, Germany for a lot of history too. And then if we go into the Nordic countries, we have Denmark and Norway. And then there's obviously a lot of the African countries, so depending on what you're looking for, you could actually go from Europe to Morocco. They're very close. Then we also have some of the Eastern African nations. If you're looking for something that's more like country and safari. And then down here we have South Africa, which is a very popular destination for English speakers because they do speak English there. And then if we keep going, we're going into Asia, and I do have to admit that my Asia geography is very poor. But you know, some of the popular Asia destinations would be like China, Japan, South Korea, Thailand, some of the islands over here, and then of course Australia and New Zealand, kind of out there all by themselves. So that's some of the options that we have. So if there is a certain region of the world that you're kind of craving at this moment in time, we can definitely work with that. Or if there's just a general theme for your trip that you are thinking, for example, are you thinking something that is like Mediterranean or tropical, or a mountain trip, a ski trip? Do you want more culture? Do you want more history? Do you really want to be put out of your comfort zone? Do you want something that's kind of familiar? So tell me what you're thinking. I'm going to start writing it down so that I can really visualize what you want out of this trip, so that I can provide you with the best possible location and itinerary and everything, okay? So go ahead and get started, and I'm just going to be writing as you're speaking, okay? Okay, that sounds amazing. All of that. So I'm kind of feeling that based on what you are saying, I think we do need to take you to Europe for sure, because I can tell that you are definitely craving that. So based on what you're envisioning, definitely, I'm getting a Greece vibe from you. Definitely Greece, like maybe Santorini, Mykonos. But along with that, I can tell that you're craving kind of that island European Mediterranean feel that comes with the summer, especially summer out of the pandemic. So I think Greece would be a wonderful option. And I think if we mixed in a little bit of one other European country that's nearby, then you would get a little bit more of that multicultural feel if we went somewhere that was a little bit different from Greece, because Greece, you're going to have a lot of that Mediterranean food and a really relaxed, relaxed, liberal culture, just because you're right on the ocean. So you're going to just be, walking around in your bathing suit the entire time, which sounds like an absolutely wonderful vacation to Europe for the summer. But I know that you kind of are looking for a little bit of wanting to experience different cultures. So I would recommend that you spend potentially about a week in Greece, and then maybe spend one of your weeks in another country, such as Italy, which is not that far from there, or Switzerland, or Croatia or Bosnia, because those are all pretty close. You could even take a train or a flight, depending on what you're preferring. The benefits of the train being that you get to see a lot on your trip, but obviously it takes more time, but you have 2 full weeks there. So I think that actually, if you're not in a rush to go from place to place, I think a train could be a very good option for you, because you do have so much time for this trip. So with that being said, let me just start to look into a couple of options here. So if we do 1 week in Greece, and I'll see kind of what our options are as far as places that we could go. Because I'm thinking that, do you want to see all of Greece, or would you rather kind of center your vacation around 1 or 2 spots? So what I'm thinking is that you spend the majority of your Greece time in Santorini. You're gonna take 2 days to go to Athens and see all the history, the culture, the architecture that's there in the capital. Let me start writing this down. So you'll have 5 days in Santorini, which will be extremely relaxing. So I almost think we could maybe make that in the middle of the trip. 5 days in Santorini, 2 days in Athens. And then we'll start the trip in, let's see. So we've got Bosnia, Croatia, Italy, Switzerland, and Austria that are all pretty close, that are providing a completely different geography than you'll be seeing in Greece. So potentially Italy. I think you would love Italy. And I think if we went to Tuscany, that would be a very different experience than Santorini and Athens. So let's do yeah, let's do Tuscany. And we'll take maybe a couple days to go to Rome. Rome is going to be extremely similar to Athens though, so with pretty similar, like the Grecian and Roman architecture is very similar. So I don't know, maybe we should actually do, Tuscany is pretty big, so there's actually a lot of things that you could do there, but I do think we could take an excursion maybe to Venice, which is on the other coast, but I think that's definitely a must see when you're in Italy. So I think that what we should do is start at Tuscany, go to Venice, and then you could take a train. It would actually take quite a while. So we have an option of either train or flight to Athens. We'll spend a couple of days exploring Athens and then end the trip in Santorini. But I think that sounds lovely because you'll be seeing the Italian countryside, drinking a lot of wine, eating a lot of the food there, experiencing the culture there. There's a lot to do in that area. There's a lot to see. It's a huge, huge area. And yeah, I mean, the Italian countryside is absolutely gorgeous. So you'll be getting that experience. Then you'll go to Venice and you'll experience a little bit more of a city feel, but it's a small city, you know, the Venetian canals. Then we'll take you over to Athens. You'll experience a lot of history and architecture there. And then in Santorini, you'll be getting a little bit of that, I want to call it tropical, but it's really just, you know, like that beachy Mediterranean lifestyle, and you'll end the trip there before flying back over to the States. How does that sound? Okay, that sounds perfect. So a 2-week trip for you. 2-week Italian and Grecian getaway. So I think that that is a wonderful starting point, and I will take care of all of the details. So we'll be in touch as this continues. What's your phone number and email address? Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do is I will send you some pictures, videos, and social media links related to these 4 locations of Tuscany, Venice, Athens, and Santorini. And so that'll provide you kind of a little bit of inspiration, and me too. And then I will start putting together kind of a rough itinerary of general ideas for what to do in each location, and then we'll talk it over and we'll get some more specifics nailed down as far as where you want to stay, as far as your flights and all the details of that, as well as the different excursions. And I'll put together a list of, you know, restaurants and other recommendations and bars and stuff in each one, as well as cultural sites. So how does that sound? Okay, perfect. I'm so excited to be planning this trip for you. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing, and we'll talk soon. Okay, bye.